So the basic idea of any managed query environment is that you could go into your database with all of those operational transactions that have happened over the years, and you can get the information out to inform you for making management decisions or to diagnose problems or to look at training or KPIs. It's such a useful asset that you're building, and you should value that asset enormously in a company. In addition to the actual transaction recordings, we've got a lot of audit recordings as well. So you can see the dates and times and who actually did things. Some of these are immediately available in the screens at the press of a button, like the audit recordings. But obviously, what we need to do for the more complex queries is stick them in this managed query environment. So if I just run through these, MIS is the management information systems. MI is constantly referred to in the same sentence as things like KPI, decision support, which is the DS. Now, if you've got a list of data, you'll often want to create graphs of it to make it more easy to recognize where the faults are or the ups and downs or whether a trend is going up and down. But the traffic light idea is to be able to find outliers. So if you have a list of people and their scores, you might want those people who are above 90 to go orange, and those people who are above 80 to go red, and those people under 12% on the test to go blue or whatever. So that's the idea of traffic light system. It's a way of showing things that are different. We use these in all sorts of ways. Typically, for example, in Report Builder, if you have assigned colors to different job application statuses or to different asset types or to different numbers or whatever, you can see those come up in the reports, which makes it very, very easy to read them. And you'll have seen these things come up in all kinds of different examples. The vetting report, for example, or the search, when the search reports come back, you can immediately see people's job application statuses and contact statuses. Now, in a managed query environment, one of the key things you should be able to do is bring the query back, and you should be able to manage what views different people have. So at its simplest level, you should be able to filter a report to see all of the deliveries for van 1 and all of the deliveries for van 2, and van driver 1 should be able to see all of the deliveries for van 1, and van driver 2 should have another report, which is the same one, just a different filter, and he should see all his deliveries for van 2. So those are views. Filters and saved searches, not easy to say, but very useful things, which allow you to be able to create those views. And you'll be aware that there's a saved search button at the top of every report in Accelerate, so that the user can save their own searches, but you can also create saved searches yourself to be able to give to different users. The sort order is very, very useful. And the sort order allows you to, for example, when we bring back a list of who has looked at our newsletter, the very first thing I do is click on clicks, click on the clicks column, so that I can see all the people who have clicked, and then all the people who haven't clicked on things get searched down the bottom. Report actions, again, a very powerful tool, which we'll be going into in the next section tomorrow. When you bring back a list of people, there are things that you want to do. You don't just want to read that list of people, useful as that is, and such a powerful tool to be able to help you inform your decisions. But often you'll want to make those decisions real time. So it could be that you bring back a list of people and you want to pick 35 of those 150 people and send them an email to say you're hired, or would you like to come to this event, or whatever, depending on what criteria you've used to choose them. Likewise, you can use other communication techniques. So you might want to send a message out via Accelerate chat or a text version of the message or whatever. But you can also change things. So you can, in many of the reports, you can switch on the ability to be able to change job application status for the 20 people that you've selected out of the 45 people who have come back, or to change a vetting status, or to update any of their profile data. So it could be that you go through 10 people, and as you go through the report, you can change their passport expiry status, because as you've called them up, they've actually mailed you a copy of the latest visa application or visa status that they've got or something like that, whatever the proof of effort is. It could also be that you have somebody call round, somebody claims they understand Chinese, it's Chinese New Year, you're doing an event for Chinese New Year, and somebody is phoning them up, checking that they actually can speak Chinese rather than fibbing about it, and ticking them off as speaking Chinese, rating 5, 6, natural, or whatever as they go. Lastly, there's a definition which is a business data universe. So when you create a report, you need to go into the data area, and we've created a number of these data areas for staffing. You need to go into the data area from which you can get the columns of data that you want for your report. And that's an area that's quite skilled to go into. Sometimes you have to use a little bit of knowledge about the database and how it works. But the data areas that we've created, I think, are quite sensible data areas, and we'll be having a look at those later. And then once you bring back the reports you want, you'll probably be aware, and I do want to make sure that this is as much as possible an interactive demo from now on, you'll be aware that the entire company gets this report page. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to explain that you may have this report page, but you can also, with Accelerate, you can create dashboards. So for example, if I look at my dashboard, I've got a support calendar, various project management. I've stuck my own dashboard in there with various bits and pieces. It's as untidy as my desk. Various charts, a Kanban diagram, so we can see all of the support items that are going across here. It's taking a little bit of a while to come back, but if we come back to that, I'll show it to you in a moment. So there you go. We've got various different support items here, and I can go through them and see all the things that are opened, estimating, quality assurance, customer, closed, and so on and so forth. So those are the definitions to run through, and those are that's some vocabulary that I'll be using when we're talking about reports, but hopefully nothing too scary there. So tomorrow we'll be going through advanced reports, and then there's a newsletter thing, and then day 15 is the finance reports. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my demo system, which I've left over here, and just take you through an intro. If I just go back one click here to the... So first of all, to introduce the reports page. The reports page is where most of you will have something looking like this. So you'll have groups like applicant tracking, work approval, and whatever it is that you would like to have in your company's system. And within those groups, there will be reports. Now, sometimes the reports will be just a name like that, but you can also have icons and buttons, and you can put pictures in there if you wish, and so on. So on our reports page, for example, you saw the pictures that I've got on that dashboard that I have, and I click the picture and up comes the report. You can also color the reports, and the importance of that is as more and more people become skilled at making reports, you have the ability to get more information out. But as that happens, you get loads and loads of reports, and you can't actually remember which one was the one that you want. We have on our system, for example, a lot of different questionnaire reports. You know, it's questions about this, questionnaires about that. So it's very important to be able to move over these things and get the actual definition of that report. And it looks like on this particular demo system, there we are. So this one here has a definition. This one maybe doesn't, but you can have definition text, which you can make as long as you want. And I've managed to pick a few reports here where not much definition text has been put in. But normally you can put a paragraph about what that report does. What many of our customers are unaware of is that from a security point of view, you can actually switch whole sets of reports off from different users. So, for example, the ability whether somebody can see reports on the system or not is determined in their user admin, but which reports they can see on the system, and I'm going to be looking at this in a moment, is determined by the specific area of that report in reports admin. And we're going to be looking at reports admin in a moment. So it could be that a salesperson can only see this group and a finance person can see this, but nobody else in the business can see finance and payroll. So this reports page has a set of reports on it. Some of them are created by our programmers because they're matrices or they're highly complex and they just wouldn't work fast enough if they were built by Report Builder. But the vast majority of the reports nowadays are built by Report Builder. Let's go and have a look at how that works. So we go into Reports Admin. Wait for that to come up. Where's it gone? There we go. And just deal with this Microsoft bug where, whoops, Reports Admin appears to lose its banner. There we go. Now the banner's back. There we go. Right. So the order of the reports in Reports Admin is exactly the same as the map of reports on any page or dashboard that you look at. So in this system, you can see that the top group here is applicant tracking, and the top group here is applicant tracking. I could actually delete this because there's no reports in it. I'm not even sure why that column has been put in there. Let's get rid of it altogether. So in fact, I might just shove that out the way altogether. There we go. So you can see here the top group is applicant tracking. Because there's no reports in this group, it doesn't appear as another column. Also, this column here doesn't appear. So the first group is this applicant tracking group, and just get rid of that. And in the next column, there's work approval. In the next column, there's staff activity here. Again, these two columns here have been created as a demo or something. And they don't show because they haven't got any reports in them, but you could have 5 or 6 columns across if you wanted. If we go down one of these columns, let's pick the one that starts with marketing, this one here. You can see the first group is marketing and it's got these 2 reports in it. The second group is reporting, the third group is event questionnaires, and so on and so forth. Now, if we take a look at recruitment, for example, and vacancies, or better still, this one here, staff status. This is one I did earlier, but I'll show you how to create one. If I go to setup here, you can see the name of it is staff status, and you can see it's in the talent group. So if I go back to the reports page, I can see that that staff status is in the talent group. And if I go back to the reports page on the actual system, you can see on the map here that there's the talent group and the top one is staff status. If I go back here, you can see, if I just leave that there and I pull this in a little bit here, you'll be able to see that it's red, but there's nothing to stop me making it, for example, green. If I go back over here, if I just, instead of writing red in here, where are we? The color. Where's the color gone? So there we go. If I say just green or something here, make that green or this kind of green or something, and bold, and give it a little icon, default icon. There must be a green, light green dot. There we go. And if I hit save, if I've got the right version of Report Builder, then if I refresh this page, now it's green with a green icon. So I think everybody's pretty happy about that. So we've picked the actual report we want to go into there, and the colors, where it is, what you can see what group it's in. If I disable it, it'll disappear. If I make it active, it'll stay. But this is the bit that I just wanted to show you before going on. It looks like only administration can see that. So you can decide on the groups that can see it, and you can decide on the groups that can't see it here. So it could be that you say territory sales are definitely not allowed to see the status of applicants coming in or anything to do with talent management. So very important, after this session, do as an exercise, jump into your company's Report Builder admin if you are a super user. If you're not a super user, find a super user and make sure it gets done. But make sure that people can't see stuff which is inappropriate for their job. And you can decide what that is for your particular organization. So to finish off with now, I just wanted to show you the configuration, and then we'll build our first report. So the configuration, and let's take that one as an example. Where were we? We were in talent, weren't we? Talent, and we were in something like staff status. So if I go to the configuration of that, we can see that it is in now the reporting module, or the BDU as we call it, the Business Data Universe, is staffing version 69. And there are lots of different business data universes that you can use. But staffing, now you might have, on this demo system, it's staffing version 69. You might have staffing 128 or whatever. It's a mature product now, and every time we add new features, clearly they need to be added to the report builder. But there's an awful lot of stuff that automatically goes into Report Builder. It's very clever. If you create a brand new profile that nobody else in any other customer and even your company didn't think of before, like fruit preferences or what car do they drive or whatever it is, then that lookup, that profile that you've created, will automatically be reportable, and it will automatically go into be a mail merge field that you can mail merge into things. Now, this particular report has 4 columns to it: first name, last name, job application status, and contact status. And if we do a preview of it, either here, or if we click on it in here, which is the same thing, I'm not sure what that's all about. I must have clicked on something wrong. So if we do a preview of that report, you'll see the first column is first name, the second column is last name, the third column is job application status, and the fourth column you can't see, but if I drag it over here, you will be able to see, is contact status. And if I just bring back anybody beginning with A, let's say, then back they come. If I just say, forget all that, bring everybody back, you can see there's lots of test data in there. And because some of you guys were kind enough to fill in the application form, you can see that your contacts have been created as well. So that is how a report is built. Somebody would go into the system, they would pick the columns they want to see from this list of available columns. And then in addition to that, if I just widen this, you can say, with this report, I want to be able to mail people, or I want to be able to send it, Accelerate Chat. I can't remember if we've done it yet. We haven't really got onto the staffing app, but there's the ability to send texts to these people and to start Accelerate Chats. Accelerate Chats are like WhatsApps. So the idea is to be able to, you probably know, you're probably all members of our buying club for texts now, and we buy millions every month. So we've negotiated the price down, and the chat idea is to be able to negotiate the price down even further. Now, having said that, it's like WhatsApp, it's cheap, but you're probably aware WhatsApp's not free. I think we all pay a few pence a year for it or something. There will be some charges for chat for very high volume users, because we've based it on Google messaging, and they have some method of billing when you get above, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000 a month or something. But effectively, I suspect chat will be cheaper. And of course, chat has the ability that it goes straight to the app, and you can send pictures like WhatsApp and so on. So just to summarize this, we've picked a business data universe, i.e. an area of the staffing system. So if I wanted to do one on bookings, then I'd have to perhaps look for something which had bookings in it here. And I'm going to show you how you choose these later on, because you would basically start with a wizard to go look for them. We then choose the number of columns. Skip over this bit here. This is just where you name the report. You then choose the columns you want, what actions you want on the report. Once you've actually brought all the people back, do you want to be able to choose them and send out emails? If you do, you'd have to have tick boxes at the side if you want to be able to choose people. And obviously in this situation here, you'd be going on the contact unique, on the contact key, on the unique number for each contact is the way that you would be able to choose people. You need some unique name. So of all of the fields in there, we know surname wouldn't be unique, or first name, so you pick the contact key. because every time a contact is added to the system, there's a unique number that's given to them so that you can use it for counting or mailing or identifying them. So if I save that now, then this report here, when I update it, so if I just close that up, refresh this and update it, I've now got at the top of this report, I've got the ability to start a chat, bulk email, and also I've got this tick box. So if I was to bring people back here, just refresh that, bring people back. Oops. I can say this one, and this one, or I can say everybody, but not this one, and this one. I'm now going to send a bulk email, and it'll bring up the bulk email, and I can do an inline message, and I can say, dear, if I could spell, if I could type, dear contact first name, you know how all this works, contact first name, we'd like to invite you for an interview or whatever it is. So just to summarize, we've had a look at, in Report Builder, choosing which columns we want to come back of the data that we want to bring back. We've had a look at naming the report, deciding whether we want to have report actions. You know, can we edit it? Can we send a bulk email? Can we send a text, and so on? And in addition to that, we have taken a look at the security of who is allowed to see that report. I promised you that you would be able to create your own report as a result of having come to this session. And I would urge you to do two things when you finish today. Just take 10 minutes to hunt around, see if you've got Report Builder. Remember, it's in this admin here, this section here, and it should be down here to be able to pick from, Reports Admin. So find it if you can. Have a look at the security of your reports. So go into this second tab here, pick some reports and have a look and see if you agree with the security of those reports. In other words, can salespeople see HR stuff? Can the office temp that has just started and is only with you a week see all of the personal names and addresses of everybody that works in your staff? You know, are there inappropriate things from a point of view of fraud or GDPR? So do have a look at that. The third thing I was going to say was have a go at creating your own first report, and I'll show you how to do that right now. So you would pick a group into which you wanted to put a report. So I'm going to pick as a simple example, I'm going to close this down and have a look at our reports. And I'm going to take sales. Now, I've no idea what Debenhams sales report is, but I'm going to say, let's say I wanted to do some sales to be able to pitch our agency at lots and lots of customers. So for sales, I would want to create one in here which says something like mailing list management. So I would come in here and I would go to my report building here, pick contact sites and organizations. There we are, companies, sites and contacts. And I would say that I probably don't want staff people in there. I really just want B2B. And I think somewhere around here in the preset filters, I can exclude staff. So in other words, I'm only going to have customers in here. I can then say in here, in contact information, I want, let's say, well, let me kick off by getting the organization stuff. So in organization data, I would say I would like the who the account manager is, if there is one, the name, and how they heard about us. Always interesting. Also the status and the type. And that in itself, if I hit save, is prospects and customers. So these are all of the companies that we're working with at the moment. We want to create a mailing list. And it may be, for example, that we don't want to mail customers to say about our half price offer because they're already paying full price. So we hit save and we preview. So already I've got in here, if I just do this, I've got the account manager, and it doesn't look like we've got very many account managers. It looks like we've got an awful lot of test contacts, and it looks companies called Test Company, and it looks like we've got a whole bunch of customers that we're working for here that we can go and pitch to. But we can't mail them yet. And the reason we can't mail them is we don't have any contact data. So I can add in here contact data. I can add in the contact full name somewhere around here, contact last and first name. I can add in their mobile if we have it. So important for prospecting these days. And you can see that I can add in some other stuff, but I'm just going to leave it at that for now. So if I now save that and preview it, you can see that I can bring all of those customers back. Now, I might want to exclude or include clients. Let me just say here, if somebody is a client in status, I would like to change their color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to conditional styling here to give myself a traffic light. So if it starts with client, contains client, then I would like it to have, let's say, a white text on a, I don't know, that background, maybe a nice blue or something like that. Maybe try this thing here. I do agonize over client colors, and I'm virtually colorblind, so that was a bit of a oh, interesting. Yeah, that should work. I think that should work. So if I hit save and go back to that report and preview it, you can see now in that column those babies. Come on, there we are. Oh, interesting. Maybe I didn't hit save. Save preview. Maybe I spelled client wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Starts with client, client, client. What have I done wrong here, guys? Did I hit save? Yes, I did. Not sure. Anyway, that should work, but it wouldn't be a live demo without something going wrong. I will make sure that that works by tomorrow. The idea here, though, is that I could create a filter so I can say I don't want to see anybody. It's because I was putting it on status. I need it to be type. I do beg your pardon. So if I just go down here and say type, new rule, conditional styling, that is client, white, and oops, green, save, close, save, and dump that. I might actually work on a refresh, or I might need to there we go. So there's my traffic lights now. Not so interesting with clients, but as you can see, it is very interesting if it's if you've got lots of different statuses and stuff. And you can see if you say I want stuff where it's less than 78 or less than 75 pass mark, I want to see those guys who scored less than 75 on the test. You can see how useful it is to look at outliers and things. So that's how to create your first report. And then finally, the question always comes up, how would I put a report in a specific group? So I can now put that into this, let me see now, let's just get that report list back. So that report is now saved. What did I call that report? I called it prospects and clients. So I can now pull it up in here and get the prospects and clients, PRO, prospects and clients, put it in here, create it as a report. So if I just do a new one here, oops, cancel. Let's do a new report here. I can add it into that group. So I'm clearing that down, looking for prospects and clients. Prospects and clients. Prospects and clients. Clearly need to refresh this. Prospects and clients. Probably need to bump in and bump out again. So go back to configuration, prospects and clients, save that. Can we put in some clients? That's a bit better. Save. There we go. There we are. So it's a new one. That's a new report. Hopefully now prospects and clients will come up. Prospects. Oh, I probably didn't make it active. That wouldn't help with it. And I probably want tick boxes on contact ID just to make it more complete. And we wouldn't be a prospecting list unless we added bulk email. Save. I'll probably make my default number per page come back as well as 100 rather than 25. Save. There we go. So now let's get my prospects and clients out. Prospects and clients. There we go. Make that bold. Let's take a purple equivalent pink dot or something. That should be about it. It goes on the report page, and remember that you can have various other pages. You know, you could have client portals or your dashboard or whatever. So that goes on the report page, and I think I was going to put it in the sales group. I'm going to auto open the report, so I don't have to do report order. The report order is where it is in the list. So if you look at this page here, the report order for payroll export is a lower number than the report order for. So that basically, I'm going to just make up a random number. If you put tens in here, you can always then slip things in the middle. So if I just put in 30 or something, then have a look at this, refresh my reports page. So in the sales thing here, Debenhams report order must have a lower number than 30 for this to come in. So I click on there, and up come all my prospects, and there they come. Refresh, in fact, they come. So I've now got my report of how many people that I can mail. And as you can see at the top here, I've got a bulk email possibility. So I can say, I'm going to take out all the clients. So clients, not clients. Filter that again. I'm going to mail everybody else to say whatever it is I want, whatever my marketing message is. And as you can see by the fact that we've got a lot of people coming to these seminars, you can see how powerful mailing is as a tool, both for clients and also we're finding an extremely effective marketing tool as we're marketing, like many of you, to our target markets. So going back to the agenda, we have been through the general intro, the reports page, security, dashboards. We'll be getting into more tomorrow. Hopefully you've got enough now to be able to go back, look at your security for your business, make sure that the wrong people can't see the wrong reports. And remember, you've always got the possibility of just taking reports view completely off their user admin. But that's a bit of a sledgehammer to crack a nut. The obvious best solution is to take every single group of people and to say, right, administrators should see this, HR people should see this, only finance can see finance, and so on, and to make things in the right groups for your organization. And I think it's a good idea to have a look at that. And the directors should really sign off who can see what reports, for obvious reasons. So hopefully now this afternoon you can do that security side, and you can also build your first report. And if you want to build your first report, my recommendation is you go into Report Builder, you start with this page here, and you pick the group into which you want to put your, is it a talent management report? Is it a workforce management report? Is it a marketing report or whatever? Let's say we pick sales again, because it's a nice, simple example. If you click New Report, then it kicks off this wizard, and it basically says, what area would you like to talk about? Now, the one that we pick here was companies, sites, and contacts. But as you can see here, if your report was about questionnaire results or employment histories or vetting or something, there's a wizard in there for you, and it explains which one to start with. So if it was event sessions summary, you can see here that includes the event details, the client who's asked you to create, who's given you that contract to do it, various shift details, the roles that people had on those shifts, and so on and so on and so forth. But if it was to do with job applications, you can see that it would have the advertising medium, the contact core data, the name and address and so on, any files attached, and which job post they went for and stuff. So basically start with that. As soon as you then hit next, let's just pick one. Let's pick the one that we just did, company sites and contacts. You hit next and it says, what do you want to call that report? I would almost certainly exclude any staff organizations or subcontractors or anybody that's not a client. Go forward here and I would call it my 123 report, and I would put this in, and then I would create my report, and that will give it a name in here. It'll have picked the right BDU for me, and I'm ready to kick off picking the columns that I want to see in the report. So do go into a group where you want to create a report, use the report wizard to pick the BDU for it, and then it's really simple. You literally look down here and you just basically pick the fields that you think you'd like. Any problems, call support. See you tomorrow.